Hello, snowboarders of the internet. I'm your host, Avran LeFeber, and in this boot breakdown, we're going to be going over the 32 Lashed Double Boa. Now, the Lashed is the best-selling boot of all time for 32. What about the Double Boa? Let's get right into it. This video was made possible by Tactics Board Shop and Tactics.com. They sent the product so that we could break it down because they're cool like that. So if you want to shop online, check out Tactics.com. And if you're up in the Pacific Northwest, check out their 4 locations. You got one in Bend, you got 2 in Portland, and 1 up in Seattle. And if you're going to Japan, check out Tactics Sapporo. Ha! Didn't know they were international, did you? With the Lashed Double Boa, what you do get is a hard rubber coating on top of the synthetic material. So you're gonna notice this is just gonna prevent it from fraying. You can dig your toe in a little bit more. You can hack it with the edge. You do have a double stitch seam down the side and over the end of the tongue there. So if you're really resting your edge on this, that can fray it. The other thing is right where this point is that this comes down to, if you've got, depending on how you have your strap set, if you really crank down on it, you're probably going to create a pressure point on there. So be aware of that. Some people might feel it, some people might not. Depends if you got last click syndrome or not. On the back spine of this boot, you do have a rubber back spine. This is going to help provide a little bit more rebound into that shell. So when you're really driving into it, it'll snap back out. This is nice because you can drive into it. It's going to help hold its shape, and it works in conjunction with the natural articulation of the boot. So what that articulated cuff does for you is that when you're flexing this boot in there and you're strapped down, there's a little bit of give before it bulges out. Now, this isn't the deepest articulation. You're going to notice that there is some slight bulging until this creases. This is also not the stiffest boot out there. There is a ton of give to this. Just remember, you're a heavier rider, but you're in a size 10 versus a lighter rider in a size 10, you're gonna flex it different. Flex ratings are arbitrary. Now, continuing up the back spine of this boot, you've got this little section here with the pull tab, is that if you pull on this, you've got this elastic material right here. Those of you with bigger calves, in conjunction with the liner, which has a more malleable foam in it, this is gonna work better. So if you got a big old cankle, something to consider. You got tiny little chicken legs. Never gonna have to use that feature. Lucky you. Around the top of this shell, the material is a lot more forgiving, especially in the tongue and right here on the side. You can see this. That gives you a lot more lateral play. So if you're one of those guys that likes to tweak it, be aware of that. They do have their 3D molded tongue, and you're gonna notice that this has a lot of give to it. One thing I don't like is the material on the tongue. This is not a very rigid tongue. This is gonna break in and break down relatively fast. It's gonna allow for more forward flexion in there. So, what happens when you have a boot with a lot of give to it right out the box? It only gets softer. Something to consider. The sole of this boot is foam where the white is, rubber where the brown is. Under the toe, you're gonna get a little bit more give in there. Then the foam is just gonna help dampen a little bit. It's got decent tread unless you're really foot shuffling and you're gonna wear it down. And then overall, it does sit a little bit lower. This is gonna help with that board feel. And it's not gonna be as abrupt as something a little thicker that might dampen more, but it does an okay job with what it's got. By and large though, this is a bulky boot, so even though you're gonna sit lower, it's still got a lot of volume to it. Why haven't you given this video a thumbs up? Yeah, you, right there, do it right now. Give it a thumbs up. While you're down there, why haven't you subscribed? You know who you are. I know some of you have subscribed, but you haven't subscribed. Do that. Make sure you click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the programming we've got coming out for you. Believe me, we do programming, not content. The lacing option on this is double boa. I mean, it says it in the name, so you should have noticed that. You got a lower on the side and an upper on the front. With the lower boa, there's less crisscross here, so you're really going to have to crank this to get this tight across here. And we're pretty much maxing this out, and it still feels like there's some looseness in there. It's not as tense as it should be. So that's one thing that you need to consider with this boot. You do have the cloth cable instead of the steel cable. Inside the liner, you do have an internal lace harness sewn into it. It doesn't come up as high as other boots. This thing's nice though. It's gonna snug you down in that liner right to the shell, giving you a little bit more of an optimal fit. This should just help keep you sucked in and locked down. It does have a ton of cord to it, so you can really crank this and then slide the little locking mechanism into place. The Lashed Double Boa comes with the Team Fit liner. You get two different types of Intuition foam. At the top, you're gonna have softer, more malleable foam up at the top. This is just gonna really allow it to cradle around your calf muscles. So those of you guys with bigger calf muscles, you don't have to worry about that. It's gonna expand out when you heat mold it, because this is a fully heat moldable liner. And then you have a thicker, harder density foam down here. This is still gonna be able to heat expand and move out. One thing to note though is aggressive seams right at the flex point, right around the outside of the foot, right where it meets the tongue and everything. So if you got really sensitive feet, you're probably actually gonna feel this a little bit. And then you do have this nice little piece of material here for that lace lock. So when you slide it down, it's not gonna dig into the liner. In the back here, you got a little bit of a harder material that gives it some rigidity, and you do have the heel hold system. You got this little pocket from the heel hold system, and you could slide foam in there if you need it to push in, or you could just put excess C or J bars out there. One of the cool things on the tongue of this liner is that you got a double Velcro wrap on this, and you don't see this too often with other companies' boots, but this is aggressive Velcro, and this is nice because it really wraps around the top. Now, when we get into the actual liner, this isn't the most aggressive heel hold in the J-bars, and that foam in there is relatively soft. This is gonna pack out. So if you're looking for more optimal heel hold, this may not be the boot for you. And it's somewhere between a U and a V shape in there. So it's not completely wide in the heel, but it's also not narrow in the heel. It's kind of like that weird in between. It is wider at the forefoot though. The footbed on this is the Team Fit. It's got a pretty shallow heel pocket in it. What's nice is you do get some posting around the heel and through the arch. This is a little bit of a harder plastic, so this helps cradle it. You'll notice when you push down in it, it doesn't have as much give as just like some of these ones that are basically felt. Do I think you need to replace this? I would personally, unless you only go like 10 days a year, but if you're an actual serious rider, you might want something with a little bit more support in there. Overall, it's better than others in this price point, but it's still, in my opinion, not good enough for someone that rides 50 to 100 days a year. Remember, the best boot is the one that fits your foot and fits your needs. So try on as many boots as you can. Find the one that fits your foot and fits your needs. This might be the boot. This might not be the boot, but you have to go find that boot. I can only guide you so far. Couple measurements. So we've got just under 11 in the rear there, and then on the front, it's about 11 and a half. This is a US 10. On the side, it comes in at about 10 and 3/4. This is without the liner. Measuring this with the liner, on the size 10, it comes out to about 11 and a half in the rear there, and then on the front, it's about 11-ish. There's going to be that slope down in there, so expect to have a little bit more give on the sides. With the Lashed Double Boa, this is what I like to call a comfort boot. You put someone in that wants comfort. They don't care about performance. They don't care about fit. They just want it to be comfortable. They're probably spending a little bit more time lodge pimping. It's not the stiffest boot. Like, as you can see, there's a ton of give to it. But the Lashed model is the best-selling boot of all time, $432. This just happens to have double boa, which gives you dual zone. At the end of the day, it's the bottom of the mid-tier for me. It's not a low-tier boot, but it's a mid-tier. Like, I'll recommend it if you got a wider foot, you go 5-10 days a year, you're not looking for optimal performance, or you're a jib kid that's just going to disintegrate them anyways. Otherwise, I think there's better boots from other brands out there. This kind of just gets the job done. It does what it needs to do. It's not the greatest, it's not the worst. I'm more curious to see what's going to happen with 32 now that Nidecker owns them, because I've long believed that 32 needs an overhaul in their boot line. Like what we're doing over here? Want to support us further? Swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. All right, so we went through all the features on the Lashed Double Boa for you. Now you know what it's got and what you can be looking for. Remember, the best boot is the one that fits your foot and fits your needs. So if this boot doesn't fit your foot or fit your needs, check out one of our other boot breakdowns and then find that boot for yourself.